right about. I did tell our team afterwards, gave out a couple game balls, but quoted one of the coolest, greatest guys, men that I've been around. I was only around him for a year and a half, but he said it before they made the run that they did. I quoted Amir, man, this ain't the same old South Florida anymore. And I truly believe that. Felt his presence tonight in me. I don't know why or how, but that's a special dude that loved our football team and quoted him. So hopefully that sticks with these guys a little bit. I'll open it up to questions.
An emotional win and a significant win on several levels, as you heard there from the head coach of USF. Again, a huge 34-7 win, and then a big upset as well over number 25 Boise State last night. But college football season is here. Another big matchup coming up tomorrow that you'll be able to watch on Fox 13 and on Fox 35, and that is Texas and Ohio State. That one coming up at noon tomorrow. After big noon kickoff, going to be at the Horseshoe in Columbus for that big matchup between the Big Ten and the SEC, and a couple of top five heavy hitters this year, and a rematch of the national championship game as well. So a lot to be excited about. I know I'm ready for college football season. It is here, and it's certainly a fun time of year. Well, that's going to do it for us here on Florida Live. I hope you have a great weekend, a great holiday weekend. Maybe get some time to relax, some time to do some fun stuff, whatever you have planned for this 3-day weekend if you get that day off on Monday. So hope you have a good one. We are going to wrap up our coverage here on Florida Live, but as we do so, let me give you a view of Daytona Beach here on this Friday afternoon. Beautiful view here from our Hard Rock Hotel camera. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good afternoon to you, and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. It is 4 o'clock, and that means it's time for today's Top 4 at 4, where we break down the 4 of the big stories that we're tracking in the Fox 35 newsroom today. And joining me for today's Top 4 at 4, Fox 35 news anchor John Brown. And John, thanks for being here.
First of all, big holiday weekend coming up this weekend, Halloween, right?
I'm
Being a cousin Orlando, Everything's already Halloween.
It's already.
Have you been out and about? It's unbelievable. I don't know what happens to this town. Like, we jump on Halloween in the middle of August at this point.
Well, and you know, all the theme parks.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
it is crazy. Everywhere you go, you might as well think it's fall. And what's funny is like probably the place that feels like fall the latest. So maybe
Right.
that it's trying to compensate
Maybe
for that.
so. But then also at Home Depot, the one right up here close, they already have Christmas trees out. So there's that as well. It's only 99 degrees today. So.
Something for everybody.
Right. All right. So we'll get to that Halloween story here in just a second. First of all, start with this one. The man who was found guilty of shooting and killing a former Orlando Magic player was sentenced today to life in prison. Lawrence Dority was found guilty of second-degree murder back in July in that shooting back in 2022 of Adreian Payne. Payne played for the Magic for a brief time, 2017 to 2018 in that season. He was shot and killed outside of a townhouse complex off Curry Ford Road. Payne was apparently trying to help a woman who was involved in a domestic dispute with Dority and his girlfriend at the time. Now, Dority even took the stand, you remember this, and said that Payne threatened him outside of the home, but none of that evidence seemed to point to that. So now Dority is getting the rest of his life in prison, of course, depending on how parole goes here.
It was very emotional inside the courtroom earlier today. We heard from several people. Dority spoke and asked for leniency for some mercy from the judge. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
Please understand, by giving me a long sentence does nothing but negatively impact more lives. It is a generational curse that will be bestowed upon my family, and I promise you that I will be as perfect could be. I promise you that I will continue to be a positive mentor for my community. I promise you that you will never hear anything negative of my name again. I promise you that I will strive to be a law-abiding citizen. Please consider my words, and I promise you I will make everybody proud.
Dority has 3 children.
Yeah.
We also heard very emotional testimony from Tara Walker, who was Payne's girlfriend at the time, also the mother of his children, and she held up photos of their 3-year-old son, who was born after Payne's death. Never had the chance to meet his father, and never will. And here's what she said.
I want to show you who you took. I want to show you who's growing up without a father. That's Armani. He's 3 now. He doesn't know his dad because of you. It's not fair that you get to live even if it's behind those brick walls. Adreian is gone, Lawrence. He's buried 6 feet under. He was 31 years old, the same age you are today. For that, may God forgive you, because I cannot.
The mandatory minimum was 25 years, but as you said, ended up getting life in prison.
Yes, we'll see how long he actually spends. We'll go from there. All right, next up here, 2 people hurt after a small plane crashed in New Smyrna Beach. You can see it right there, the mangled mess in the woods. Spokesperson for the New Smyrna Beach area confirmed to Fox 35 the crash happened just around 10:30 this morning in an area just outside of the airport. 2 people were on board the plane when it went down. Both transported to the hospital with serious injuries, though they were not considered to be life-threatening. New Smyrna Beach Municipal Airport briefly closed after the crash, but has since reopened. This crash where it happened there, not too far from the airport, was also not too far from a lot of houses. So thankfully, everything turned out okay as far as not hitting anything on the ground.
Yeah, and we spoke earlier with a neighbor who was apparently pretty close. They saw and heard everything that happened. Here's what they told us.
We were sitting in the garage, and I heard something like roll over of some sort. I looked over, I saw the wing rolling over in the bushes. My first thought was, well, they're clearing the bushes back there. Well, then it looked strange, so I got up and walked over. I saw the wing, and I'm like, oh crap, plane just crashed. So I went over there and I opened the door and trying to get him out, make sure there's no fire or nothing like that. And everybody looked okay, except for a couple, scratches and stuff like that. But
and so we'll see. They do have serious injuries, but not believed to be life-threatening.
Yeah, and somebody was asking me about this today. So it seems like we have a lot of airplane crashes here, small airplanes. I'm like, well, look at how many airplanes we have.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I'm baffled, not just blown away, how many people have airplanes? You say I was out on the golf course this morning, 10 or 15 planes flying around. I was out at that flying community the other day where everybody has their own plane, their hangars attached to their own house. It's just a culture that if you're not in that, you don't realize how many people do this every single day. Some I met, they commute, they work here, they live here, commute to Miami and work. So, if you're in that community, it's normal. But for the rest of us, it's like, wow, I never realized you have a garage for your airplane sitting there. It's just different for me. So that's why we see so many here. Okay, next up here, back to the Pulse crosswalk. Warning signs have now been placed near the crosswalk there at the Pulse site during this ongoing controversy over the crosswalks all across the state of Florida. Earlier this month, the Pulse Memorial Rainbow Crosswalk, honoring the 49 people who died in the nightclub shooting, was painted over by the state. And as we know by now, then it was repainted and then chalked and repainted again. And so now, as of this morning, they put some warning signs up there saying, do not deface the roadway and no impeding traffic. One of the residents said that he went out there with some chalk and was confronted by the police officer saying, don't do it anymore. We've allowed it for a while, and now they're saying, you can't do it. You see the sign right there, FDOT, go away. And so again, now I think they have some teeth that they can stop people from doing this, which they didn't have before. And
here's that person you were referring to talking about what they were told.
I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully we can keep it chalked up the way that we want to. When it gets washed away by rain, it'll come back. When it gets washed away by FDOT at 3 o'clock at night, it'll come back. I hope that we keep rechalking it in the light of day so that everybody sees what's happening. I'm not going to go out there and get arrested right now. I'm staying on the sidelines so that I can help those that are fighting our fight in a different form or fashion. So they all have my information. They know that they can call me. I will be there by their side in court to help fight for them. And if that does happen, we're not just fighting the criminal fight, we're fighting the infringement on first speech rights. Because it's more than just the alleged criminal aspect.
So we'll see where things go from here, because it sounds like they don't necessarily want to back down from this.
Yeah, and it was pointed out to me, though, that there have been dozens and dozens across the state, including Back the Blue, the NASCAR ones, and none of those have been repainted again. And so it's only this one, apparently, according to the state, that seems to be having the issues. So I don't know what the solution is, but that's the one that all the controversy is about. All right, now back to Halloween, because we are only just months away. And that's why Halloween Horror Nights has now begun. It debuted once again today. The highly anticipated event offers 48 select nights for guests to experience the haunted houses, the scare zones, the live shows, and so much more. This one runs all the way past Halloween this year through November the 2nd. 34th season of this, hard to believe that one too. So again, this year is the earliest start date in history. It's still in August, of course, and it launched back in 1991. It's named the Golden Ticket Legend for Best Halloween event by Amusement Today. So, it's funny, but I'll still go as soon as I can. That's what's so great about this, is I love the fact, and they're capitalizing on all these holidays that people come into from around the world come here.
Right.
So you might as well. I mean, it's fun. No other place in the world gets to do the stuff we do like this. Food and Wine debuted this week, which is another great event. The one at SeaWorld debuted. Not So Scary down at Disney's already going on. Christmas is right around the corner. So we laugh about it, but we love it. So
yeah, are you a Halloween Horror Nights fan?
You know what? I am. This is because my kids are now. We have season passes for them. I'm not that much into it. I enjoy it, but I'm still a Not So Scary Halloween and Mickey, because I love candy. And the amount of candy you walk out of there, and then the Boo to You parade and that whole thing. And so that's the one I love, believe it or not, over at Disney. But I love them all. I mean, just you live in a place like this that's so special.
It is fun to It is fun to check out, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the houses, the haunted houses at Halloween Horror Nights this year, they're saying it might be the goriest Halloween Horror Nights haunted house ever, and that's the Terrifier house.
Yeah, and I know David Martin was out there with the people who were putting that on, and I don't know if you have that sound of them, but they talk about it. So let's hear what he has to say here.
Terrifier, the haunted house, is set to be the goriest haunted house Universal Orlando Halloween Horror Nights has ever created, and that's because this guy has the goriest films in the Terrifier, 3 amazing Terrifier films. So we are highlighting all of his beautiful kills in his Terrifier Funhouse.
The recommendation, bring a change of clothes because you might need it after going through Terrifier.
That's right, a poncho and socks. Those are the recommendations after going through the wet path in Terrifier.
So they recommend a poncho and socks because there are a couple of options for, there's a kind of a wet path and a dry path.
Yeah.
There's, and if you take that wet option, bring a poncho and socks.
You know, how far do you go though? I mean, you know, and I know it's one of these things like, all right, if you've been scared so much, like, how do you keep upping the game? That's kind of creepy, what you have to come up with. So anyway, there you have it. It's time. Go to the theme parks, enjoy Halloween already, eat the candy.
All right. However you want to celebrate Halloween.
That's what you do.
That's right, especially in August. John, we appreciate you joining us for our Top 4 at 4. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist TJ Springer joins me live now. And TJ, thankfully not as busy of an afternoon as we saw yesterday, but still some things you're watching on the radar here today.
For sure, Garrett. You know, anything is a win when you have a day that features a lot of severe thunderstorms and weather alerts. But thankfully, we haven't had that today. But yeah, you mentioned we're still watching a few areas out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, we can see some of those, some showers and lines of storms on the radar there.
Yeah, it's all thanks to this stalled front, Gary. It's off to our north, so we have some wind energy aiding in that organization of some of these storms out there. Thankfully, not terribly widespread. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning just a little bit ago up to our north and west across some of our Fox 51 locales up across Levy County. That has since faded, but we still have those storms up closer to Williston and Ocala. But across the Orlando metro, we've been monitoring some of these showers and thunderstorms, and they've been packing a bit of a punch with a lot of lightning, the potential for gusty wind over 30 miles per hour. Some of these have even featured a little bit of rotation as well. Citrus Ridge, Lake Buena Vista, down closer to the attractions. We are monitoring a nice little downpours, the potential for, maybe a little bit of hail south of Citrus Ridge, but overall, torrential rain and a lot of lightning there, and 100 strikes in the last 15 minutes. We're also watching some clusters of showers and thunderstorms up closer to the beaches from Canaveral National Seashore down toward Rancha and Scottsmore, and that's where we could also have some gusty wind potentially getting up close to 40 to 50 miles per hour, and there has been some rotation in these. They're getting up close to the sea breeze now. It's kind of pinned near the coast, but we also have that stalled front. So between all of that and some of this energy upstairs in the atmosphere, we've seen these showers and thunderstorms ignite. Here's a live look over some of the attractions out there now. That's our iDrive cam peering off to the north and east. And right now, we're dry, at least over I-Drive, but there's rain in the vicinity of you. So if you are getting out and about, I would say you certainly want to monitor the conditions on the Fox Local app. There's the front. And notice it's draped all the way across the south right now. It's not going to be going anywhere as we head into the latter half of our weekend. So expect our conditions to remain unsettled, the chance for showers and thunderstorms to remain high. So that's something you have to think of if you have outdoor plans Saturday and Sunday. Again, tonight with any storm that does get going, wind is a concern, lightning for sure, and certainly torrential rain. But just like yesterday, we're not in a widespread severe weather setup, but we cannot rule out a spin-up tornado or two, especially up closer where that stall frontal boundary is. That's where we have a bit more wind shear or wind energy in the atmosphere. Remember, the twisting with wind, the twisting of the wind with speed and height is what we're watching out for there, and that's what's driving that threat of a spin-up tornado or two. Right now, temperatures are topping out right around the 90-degree mark. But notice where there has been some rain, temperatures have dropped off a bit. 83 in New Smyrna and DeLand, but it still feels pretty hot. Kissimmee, Winter Haven, you're sitting between 90 and 92. Our Friday football blitz forecast tonight, again, rain is in the forecast. So if you're getting out and watching some games tonight under the lights, I would say bring the rain gear and be prepared at least for the potential of some delays or maybe even taking shelter with the potential of hit or miss showers and thunderstorms. But the deeper we head into the night, we'll start to see these showers and thunderstorms fade away. We'll have temperatures falling back into the middle 70s for the most part. Then tomorrow, we do it all over again. We'll have temperatures in the upper 80s to around 90 with numerous showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon. And just like today, one or two could become severe, and we'll have to watch out for the potential of any sort of encounters between the sea breeze and a storm or other storm collisions that could promote a spin-up tornado. Here's our Fox weather model and Futurecast as we time things out through the remainder of our night. You can see these showers and thunderstorms working eastbound with the help of the wind upstairs in the atmosphere. 8 o'clock, still seeing scattered showers and thunderstorms. Through about midnight, we're seeing a lot of these fade away. Still a few showers are possible, but we're still going to have the chance for a few showers in the morning tomorrow because of that stalled front. And then as we head into the heating of the day, we start to see these pick up as we start to get more instability to develop. So that'll be something you'll have to monitor as well. But I would say with a little more upstairs energy moving across Florida on Sunday, our rain chances look a little bit higher then. If you are hitting the theme parks tomorrow, maybe you have a Universal Orlando Day planned, pack the poncho in the backpack. That would be a good idea. Around 88 through noon, around 90 with more widespread showers and thunderstorms as we approach 3 o'clock. Now, all of us seeing rain all at once, but the chances are there. And you can see they bump up to around 80% on our Fox 35 Storm Team 7-day. Then they start to come down. We have another solid dip in the jet stream. That'll bring temperatures down ever so slightly, but behind it, it looks like we dry out later on next week. Only a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms there, Garrett, as we approach our Friday. So a little improvement, but it certainly looks wet, a bit unsettled as we head through the next few days.
What do you recommend for folks if they're going out to the first night of Halloween Horror Nights tonight?
Gosh, I know it has to happen on a day like today. I feel like just packing the poncho. I mean, unless you're prepared to go to the Terrifier house, you might get wet, and then you're good. You're in good shape.
Well,
you won't be wet, so I don't think it'll be maybe as bad.
Yeah, bring your poncho for the weather and for that haunted house.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. That haunted house looks amazing, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to come out maybe speechless. I don't know. Yeah,
we'll see. I won't be one of the ones going through it, so I will definitely have nothing to say about it. But we'll have to get a report from our producer Johnny here, who I know can't wait to go through that.
I'll see
tonight.
if I can drag Eric into it in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, if so, you'll have to give us an update.
Yeah, most definitely.
Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist TJ Springer, we appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, Garrett. I appreciate it.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. All right, thanks, T.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. A University of Miami football player was arrested today. His name is Adreian Hayes. He's a sophomore linebacker. He is from Largo, went to Largo High School, and today he turned himself in to face charges in connection with a triple fatal crash that happened in Largo back in May. The Largo police chief held a news conference earlier today to talk about what we know and why they have filed these charges against Hayes.
I mentioned a couple months ago that I would provide a follow-up as this investigation progressed. While it's still an open and active investigation, it has progressed to the point that the Largo Police Department's traffic safety team has developed charges on Adreian Hayes for 3 counts of vehicular homicide and 1 count of reckless driving with serious bodily injury. These charges stemmed from the investigation into a crash that occurred on May 10th, 2025 at approximately 1:43 p.m. The crash involved 2 vehicles, a 2024 Dodge Durango driven by Adreian Hayes, and the other, a 2017 Kia Soul being driven by Gail Price. Adreian was driving his vehicle at a reckless and high rate of speed while traveling south on Ridge Road. Mrs. Price's vehicle was occupied by an adult male front seat passenger, Herbert Rivera, and 2 rear passengers, 10-year-old Jabari Elijah Solomon and 4-year-old Charlie Herbert Solomon Rivera. Mrs. Price was making a left-hand turn to go from northbound on Ridge Road to westbound on Orangeview Drive. The investigation revealed that Miss Price had the lawful right-of-way when she attempted to make her turn. In the process of making a lawful left-hand turn, Mrs. Price's Kia was struck on the passenger side by Mr. Hayes driving the Dodge Durango. The investigation revealed that Mr. Hayes' Durango was going approximately 78.9 miles per hour 1 second prior to impact. As a result of the crash, Jabari Solomon and Charlie Solomon Rivera, the 2 children, passed at the scene. Mrs. Price passed later at an area hospital, and the front seat passenger, Herbert Rivera, sustained serious injuries but survived. Following the crash, the Largo Police Department's traffic homicide team began an investigation where officers spoke with multiple eyewitnesses, reviewed video surveillance, and conducted follow-up investigations onto the statements provided. It was discovered during the investigation that approximately 5 seconds prior to the fatal crash, Hayes made a rapid and dangerous maneuver, changing lanes from the curb lane to the median lane, crossing 3 lanes of traffic while overtaking other vehicles. Moments later, Hayes abruptly re-entered the curb lane, again crossing 3 lanes without signaling. At a point, Hayes' vehicle collided with the Kia Soul driven by Miss Price, which was lawfully executing a left-hand turn west onto Orangeview Drive. The Largo Police Department's traffic safety team worked in conjunction with the State Attorney's Office to secure a search warrant on the vehicle, which resulted in confirming that Hayes was traveling 70.8 miles per hour 5 seconds prior to impact and accelerated to 78.9 miles per hour 1 second prior to impact. The investigation concluded that Adreian Hayes' egregious speed, aggressive and reckless lane changes, and complete disregard for the surrounding traffic conditions demonstrated a willful and deliberate disregard for the safety of others, constituting reckless driving. These actions directly led to the tragic deaths of the 3 victims. The Largo Police Department obtained arrest warrants for Mr. Hayes, and Mr. Hayes turned himself into the Largo Police Department this morning. He was placed into custody by the case agent of the Largo Police Department's traffic safety team, Officer Ryan Clark, along with Sergeant Chris Keeler. He was transported to the Pinellas County Jail and charged with 3 counts of vehicular homicide and 1 count of reckless driving with serious bodily injury. And I'm answer any questions you may have about the investigation that we can. Just keep in mind it is still active in an ongoing investigation.
Have you been able to make contact, I'm sure you have, with the victim's family, and if so, are you able to share what their reaction to the charges was?
They're pleased with the reaction. We've been in contact with them the entire time. Both our traffic safety team and our victim advocate for the Largo Police Department have been in contact with the family members. They've been apprised of every step along the way during the investigation, and that Mr. Hayes has been arrested.
And were those, just so I'm clear on the timeline, the charges just brought, and then when he found out about them, he turned himself in, or were the charges brought, several days or weeks ago, and then?
So we worked with the state attorneys to obtain arrest warrants. During the investigation, representative of Mr. Hayes, because there was no charges prior to working with the state attorney's office and getting the arrest charges, we've been in contact with his representatives. So they were aware about the same time that we were aware of the arrest charges, and they called in and said, basically, can we just bring him in? And yes.
Can you talk about how serious these charges are and what the future could look like for Hayes?
Well, there are 3 counts of vehicular homicide and the serious bodily injury. Of course, there's serious charges. I mean, you have the death of 3 innocent people that were just traveling on the roadways. So, yes, they're very serious charges.
Could you kind of dive deeper into the legwork that had to be done to either, and what kind of evidence you guys found? Was it traffic cams? Was it people's dash cameras? And then, what is it, like a black box of the vehicle to find the speeds and stuff?
Sure. So when the investigation happened, you have 2 vehicles involved. So what our traffic safety team did is basically investigate 2 separate vehicles, right? You want to look at the Kia Soul, the driving behavior of the Kia Soul that led to it making a left-hand turn to go on the Orangeview Drive, and the driving behavior of the Dodge Durango prior to the crash. So you do the background, reconstruct where they were driving and what got them to the point of impact, and then you put both of those investigations together. Search warrants were obtained for the vehicles, the one vehicle, the Dodge Durango, to obtain effectively the black box for the car to give us information on how far the rate of speed of the vehicle, the rate of acceleration, deceleration. It gives us a ton of information on the vehicle prior to the crash. So all of that information in conjunction with witnesses that were driving on the roadway during when the crash occurred. And we did have a parcel delivery vehicle that was parked on the side of the road, and we had video from that vehicle which showed part of the crash.
Has he been cooperating or showed any remorse that you guys have seen?
I don't know about the remorse. I know we've been dealing with his representative, and they have been cooperative.
We'll be right back with more Fox 35 News Plus after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us this afternoon here on Fox Local and on YouTube. And if you joined us earlier in the day, we were tracking that breaking news about the plane crash in New Smyrna Beach. 2 people injured in that. Fox 35's Randy Hildreth has been out at that scene. She joins us live now from Volusia County. And Randy, what's going on there now, and what's the latest?
Yeah, I want to flip my camera so you can see exactly what is going on. Like when you see the crowd that is gathered right here, my cameraman that's here is getting aligned. Look for you now at the process of removing the plane that has come down. Obviously, this is the closest we can get because of the caution tape. But you can see the equipment right here that is high in the sky. And if you turn the camera this way, kind of maybe able to see the plane in the distance. You can see a man sitting right there, and you might be able to make out the wings and that plane. They're in the process of trying to do the research. As you mentioned, the teams have been out here all day working to not just rescue people here inside that plane at the time it was down, but also to go through this with insight and now remove this plane. So as you can see, it is still very active out here.
Randy, what do we know about the 2 people who were on board and how they're doing?
Yeah, we're still working to get some more information about them. Law enforcement did not identify the people who were inside the plane at the time, but we did get a chance to speak with a neighbor who was, his home was feet from where this plane went down, and he says, one, he wasn't sure what was going on, thought that someone was clearing this vegetation behind his home, and then he saw a wing up in the sky, ran over and worked to try to help the people who were inside. In the video that he shared with us, it appeared that there was a woman and a man who were escorted from the wreckage. We know that they did sustain injuries, non-life-threatening injuries, and were taken to the hospital. At this point, it's not clear if they are still in the hospital, but we know they did had to go there for treatment.
We can see them working to move that plane there. Give us an idea. I know this happened close to the airport there. It's really close, right?
Yeah, not Sanford, New Smyrna Beach Municipal Airport, right just outside of the airport. We understand that the airplane took off, did a loop and crashed just outside of the airport. So very, very close to the airport, right outside of it.
All right. Well, interesting. Scary situation there. Interesting to see the work going on right now. Still a very active scene, obviously. And Fox 35's Randy Hildreth, we appreciate you joining us here on Fox 35 News Plus and bringing us these live images from that scene in New Smyrna Beach.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We want to go now to Brevard County, where some new measures are going into place that can help with defending the Indian River Lagoon against storms. Fox 35's Esther Bauer is joining us live now via Zoom. And Esther, talk to us about these huge structures that are going in.
Yeah, massive structures, about 1,200 pounds each, and the Cape Canaveral community is putting in 10. So a lot of weight. And like you said, it's really a new, more so eco-friendly way to protect crucial city resources. So we talk about sewage spills, unfortunately, here on the Space Coast quite a bit. And we have a lot of these sewage plants that just kind of sit right by water. So the city of Cape Canaveral has one, and they've unfortunately seen this specific building just hit hard by storms. It's right on the water, and they've seen that shoreline over the years getting weaker. So they said we need to do something now, a proactive measure to try and hinder the shoreline from just being taken out during storms. And ultimately, long term, the big fear is that if any of the sewage facilities, if the structure was weakened enough, we could see millions of gallons of sewage pouring into the waterway. So they have these massive structures that are just right there, you're seeing them peeking out of the water, but they're just kind of dumped into the waterway, and they have holes in them for a reason. And the reason is because we mentioned it's eco-friendly. So while their goal is to be a wave break, to lessen the impact of storms hitting the shoreline, the holes are there to provide places for fish and other small sea creatures to live, as well as providing sunlight to still get down to the bottom so seagrass can still be growing, and then other plants could also grow through the holes. So it's this kind of green way to say, hey, we have this city building, this facility right by the water. We want to keep that facility standing straight, but we also want to be not harming the waterway. So what can we do that isn't as just debilitating? You think about seawalls, they really kind of stop life. They're a very harsh structure. This is supposed to be a more sustainable way to not only protect the property, but then also make the waterway stronger. So we're going to see how it'll go for this specific Space Coast city. They're telling us they're the first local community to try out this tech because it's really pretty new. The company that they bought them from, only about 2 years old, so definitely some new technology that's being tested here on the Space Coast, but not that pricey. So for all of the arches, only $20,000. That's what they spent with taxpayer funds to put them in the water, to have 10 arches. But they say if we were to see the wastewater facility plant, go offline, see a massive sewage spill, that could be millions of dollars the taxpayers would have to end up paying. So they're hoping this can be a proactive way to prevent any kind of disaster moving forward.
All right, interesting stuff, and look forward to seeing your story, and so we can learn more about it coming up in just a little bit. Fox 35's Esther Bauer joining us live from Brevard County. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon.
Sounds good.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Thanks, Esther.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus, and here's a live look at our iDrive cam in the tourist district there. You can see some raindrops on the camera, and the rain coming down there in along International Drive, and of course it's raining. It's the opening night of Halloween Horror Night. Seems like that's often the case. And joining us live now, though, from Universal Studios, ahead of the opening of Halloween Horror Nights is Tharin White, the one and only lead publisher of EYNTK.info. And Tharin, what a sight! Opening nights here.
Yeah, I feel like we talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, and we're finally here. We have got all of the lines set up behind me, but it's not the only one. Because of Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket's destruction, you can walk back there, and they're using different sound stages to fill even more and more lines. I don't know how true it is, but some people have already said there is an hour-and-a-half long wait waiting for people back there, and we're just in the Stay and Scream access. It's a popular night.
Yeah, a lot of excitement for this. We have been talking about this for weeks, if not months. So talk to us about Stay and Scream, getting ready to start, what, in about 20 minutes from now? What are there's some changes to that this year.
Yeah, changes that I think are a lot better. So you're now going to get a wristband. It's kind of like what Disney has done over at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So you basically go in, you prove that you have a ticket to go to the event, and they're going to give you a wristband, and then they're going to slowly go through the park and basically get rid of people that can't go into the houses. And eventually Universal Security is going to take care of that. You as a guest just get to go around, you get to explore, grab a drink, get in line for a house, whatever you'd like to do. In fact, you can even go into some of the houses before it officially opens. Right behind me, they've got some of the houses there. You'll be able to go into Terrifier 30 minutes before the event even officially starts. So if you're a Universal Pass holder, if you just have a one-day ticket here, or if you add on that early Scream tickets, you get to come in here, you get to enjoy the park for a little bit, and then you get early access to the Halloween Horror Night haunted houses as well.
Tharin, what's your game plan for tonight? I'm curious.
So I don't always try to get everything done in the first night. Usually just because we get so excited about this and we talk about it for months, I like to go into the first night and just enjoy it. Now, because we're here for the Stay and Scream, I am going to try and either jump in either the Terrifier line or Five Nights at Freddy's, because those are expected to be the two most popular houses of the event for the entirety of the event. So I'll knock one of those out before all the crowds get in here. But really, the first night, even the first weekend, is just enjoying it. Going through the scare zones, kind of getting the vibe, seeing some of the events and the shows. And so because of that, I think it's just a lot of just enjoying it because, hey, we're finally here. I've got the entire season pass to be able to do it all.
Okay, so if you're going to do the Terrifier house, are you doing the wet option or the dry option?
I am doing the wet option. Like you said, it's always expected to rain no matter what for the opening weekend, so I already had a rain jacket in here. But I also brought that because I'm definitely going to need in the Terrifier house. I have heard that Universal is not lying at all. You are going to get very, very wet inside of that house. You choose the wet path. It's intense. I'll go in and have to see what it's like to do the normal side. But hey, if you're going to go inside of a house that's based off of Art the Clown, you got to go the most intense way possible for your first try.
Now, we know that's not necessarily for everyone, and there are some options when it comes to the no scare necklaces. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, if you're someone that's maybe wanted to go to Horror Nights, or you've been in the past and maybe you were a little nervous, it was a bit too intense, they now sell these necklaces that you can get. They're $20. And with that, you basically are not going to get scared when it comes to the scare zones. This does not help you inside of the haunted houses. If you go inside of them, it is fair game to scare you. But when you're walking around the scare zones, when you're just going here and enjoying some of the food and checking out some of the scare zones, you don't have to worry about that as much because you're going to be wearing this necklace that basically lets the characters know, hey, I'm here for the vibes. I'm not here to get a jump scare. And that's something you can go and get and test out. I'm going to see how well it really works because when it's this popular, it might be difficult for a character to notice, or just getting near someone might get the person next to you. So we'll see how that kind of evolves over today and this weekend and how they kind of react to that. But I think it's a good option. And I have friends that have wanted to go to this, but they just don't like getting scared. They don't like the jump scares. So that is something that's kind of been intriguing to them, and it might be the reason that they finally come this year.
All right, that's yeah, certainly a good new addition, it sounds like, and I'll be interested to hear how that does end up working. So Tharin, it looks as if everything is ready to go.
Oh, it's definitely ready, and we've got the crowds just pouring in behind me as they're heading up to line into their first houses. But we've got this line here. I'm fully expecting this to be filled probably by 8 o'clock tonight. I feel like 8 o'clock to the 11 o'clock is usually the prime time when the lines really get busy here. So if you are someone that's coming, whether it's your first time or not, you should know for any of the shows, go to the first show or the last show of the night if you want the least amount of people. And then for the houses, good luck for this first weekend. I hope you brought nice shoes, and I hope you brought a rain jacket.
Yeah, I was going to ask for any advice, any other tips or anything else that people need to know if they are coming out this weekend.
So if you do right now, I mean, because we're right about to open, you won't be able to make it for today. But for this weekend, whether you're going right at opening or if you're having to stay and scream, go to some of the houses all the way in the back. Those houses are going to get filled up last. So normally I have been able to, on Stay and Scream or even just opening regular, To go to the back area, you can usually get 2 or 3 houses done in under an hour, and those houses will have over an hour-long wait. So there is that advantage that if you're willing to walk all the way to the back of the park and basically go from back to front, you can usually beat a majority of the crowds because they all just go to the very first house they see.
Well, I'm interested to catch up with you after you've gotten to experience it some this weekend, and we'll get your take on what you've seen and what you've experienced. So, Tharin, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon, and hope you have a great time tonight.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to report back. Fans have been very, very excited about this, so I'm hoping it sticks to it.
All right, a lot to look forward to, and if you're going to get wet anyway, then you might as well go through the wet option of the Terrifier house. So
exactly.
All right, Tharin, we appreciate you joining us. We're going to take a quick break here on Fox 35 News Plus, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon. Were you a little sleepy this morning if you stayed up late last night to watch the UCF season opener against Jacksonville State? The game started around 7 o'clock, and they made it a little bit before weather caused a delay. There was some lightning, some storms in the area, delayed the game for more than 2 hours, and that meant a late night. But it was a win. It wasn't the prettiest win, not just because of the delay, but also a bit of a struggle for the offense, especially early on. Things didn't quite click under starting quarterback Cam Fancher, and then he ended up being knocked out of the game by a hard tackle as well, replaced by a redshirt junior Taven Jackson. He actually threw 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to secure that win for the Knights. They ended up beating Jacksonville State 17-10. And afterward, we heard from head coach Scott Frost talking about that win. That was also the 300th win in program history.
Yeah, I got to start off with 2 things. Number one, I can't tell you how much respect I have for Coach Kelly and the job their coaching staff did and their players. Those were tough circumstances tonight. They did a hell of a job. Played really well, were coached really well. So hats off to them. And second, I can't tell you how much I love coaching here. Even with the stands empty after a thunderstorm, it's just fun here. So I appreciate the people that stayed. Game didn't quite look like I anticipated it would go, but I was really happy with the fight and perseverance of our guys. So, questions?
Coach, a lot to unpack here, but just First of all, the Jaden Williams, that 4th and 1 stop, you know, they have the ball, the game's tied. They have the ability to either go down and kick a field goal or potentially score. They line up quickly, try to catch you off guard, but Jaden Williams sniffs it out. How big was that play enabling you to come back and win?
Yeah, Jaden got game ball. You know, he's one of, seems like 100 new guys around here, but he's played a lot of football, and he's very savvy. And when they handed it off, it looked like they dented our line a little bit, and I thought it was a first down. I was getting ready to figure out where to use my timeouts, and he just shot in there and knifed him, and that was probably the biggest play of the game.
Scott, can you talk a little bit about what happened to Cam, in between at the halftime or the delay, I guess, the weather delay, and also Tharin? What does it say a lot about him coming in and being able to step up and make those plays at the end?
Yeah, first Cam, got a targeting penalty. That was a big play. It looked like it was going to be a game-changing play for them, and the guy got too high on the hit. His head was fine, wasn't a concussion or anything. He had a kind of an issue with his back and got some shooting pain down his leg, and he tried to keep it going through the long break, but didn't feel like he could go, and the trainers didn't feel like he could go, so it was plan B pretty quick.
Coach, first points came in the second half of the game. Tharin Jackson comes in unexpectedly. A lot of scenarios, a lot of circumstances in this game. What did you see about their fight through adversity?
Fight through adversity was one of the big questions about this team. We got a lot of other questions that we need to address that probably still haven't been answered. But I was wondering how this team would respond when things got hard and whether or not they'd fight or not. And the defense just kept fighting. They gave up one long touchdown drive and otherwise came up with stops when they needed them. And the offense kept plugging despite shooting ourselves in the foot a lot, and really good play from them. Kept plugging and found a way to make a couple big plays.
Coach Miles, more than 150 yards all-purpose. Just how much does this offense need him to do what he does?
Well, we need to, first of all, I love Miles. He is the captain of this team. Not officially yet. We had 4 captains tonight, but he's the leader. You got a good kid when, and I'm looking at my play sheet frustrated, and he comes over and encourages me, and that says a lot about Miles. But going forward, we got to rotate those guys a little more, and Stacey Gage is a good player, and Jaden Nixon's a good player, and AG is a good player. This game was just tight the whole time, and he's a warrior, and he stayed in and handled the bulk of it. But I'm really glad Miles is with us.
Coach, you talk about the defense a little bit with the way they held Jacksonville State to 3 and 15 on third down. A lot of that had to do with the defensive line. How do you feel about their tenacity, keeping them off the board, specifically Horace Lockett as well, getting back there a lot himself?
Yeah, no, we thought the D-line was going to be one of our strengths. It looked like it tonight. It's game 1. We have a lot of improving to do, but there's certainly some bright spots, and the D-line was one of them. I thought they kept the pressure on Wimsatt all night. Thought they did a good job in the run game for the most part. We got a lot of guys who can play, and we rotated them through, and those guys made a big difference in the game. But it wasn't just them. I thought the corners played really well, and obviously the safeties came up and played well. It's going to get harder when we play Big 12 opponents, but luckily we got about a month until that happens.
What was kind of the debate or conversations you might have had with your assistants as far as that last offensive drive, to whether to burn clock and on third down you guys take the deep shot for the touchdown? What was maybe the juggling of trying to make sure they don't get the ball, but also to go out to finish the drive and score?
Yeah, I'm going to compliment them again. We couldn't scheme much in this game, so we had to be kind of vanilla, not necessarily with our schemes, but we couldn't go in and say they do this, we need to do this. We just didn't know. And then within the game, they were coming from everywhere and lining up in odd and even and different coverages, and so it's hard to even with the video we can watch now, it's hard to even say, hey, let's get in this formation and run this, because they did a great job mixing it up. And with no real film to prepare for, that was tough, and I give credit to them. That last drive, we hit a couple plays, and Tay made a couple big plays, and particularly the third down run. We kind of rolled the dice with that call call that was only good against a certain defense, and we happened to get it. He did a good job making the play with his legs. We called another one like that on 3rd down, and they made us give it because of pressure, and you know, we got a yard, and 2nd down wasn't that productive, and I guess we just kind of sat there and said, let's win this thing. I think a lot of people probably expected us, maybe they expected us to call something and kick a field goal, but we still had a few bullets in the chamber to place to call, and we hit one.
Late in the game, especially when Tharin came in, he was using a lot of safety valves like Dylan Wade. Was that brought in to kind of ease Jackson into the game, or was there something else going into that?
No, that was really a function of their defense. They were coming after us, and when they saw, they did a good job, you know, filling with safeties that were playing deep in the run game, but then when they saw pass, they were playing really deep on us, you know, until that last bit where they're up trying to stuff the run, and that gave us a chance. But, you know, they were just dropping so deep, they were kind of taking away our things downfield and leaving the check downs there. We got to be more efficient taking those. We missed a couple, stepped out of bounds on a couple. You know, if that's what they're going to give you all game, you got to take them all game. But that didn't have anything to do with the quarterback, just had to do with their defense.
Coach Frost, we saw a significant difference in the offense between the first half and second half of the game. We'd like to know, are you still sticking to your UC fast strategy, or are you trying something else?
We'll do that when it counts, you know, at times, when it's appropriate. And we'll see game to game how fast it's going to be. You know, they're a team that does it themselves, and our plan going into the game was to earn a couple first downs and then go fast. You know, the first drive was going pretty well, and we shot ourselves in the foot. And the second drive, probably threw a ball in a bubble when it shouldn't have been thrown, and missed a block. And it was just a lot of little things like that. Offensively, you either have to create more explosive plays, or you have to be really consistent. Because if you're going to have 13 play drives, you know, sooner or later something bad could happen if you don't execute really well. So we need to be better at both, creating explosives and being consistent. And when we get really good at that, we'll maybe try to do it faster.
Well, there is definitely some room for improvement after that season opener and home opener last night in Orlando. Well, thanks for joining us on this Friday here on Fox Local and on YouTube. Hope you have a great weekend ahead of you, and if you have the day off on Monday as well, get some time to rest and relax.